Welcome back, everybody. Guess what we're doing today? Today is organizing. Lots and lots of organizing. I know it's like, why do we keep all this stuff? Well, because there's a time and need for something eventually, you know? I don't know. Anyways, so what we're gonna do here, we kind of roughly figured out, as of right now, this has been air drill, combine, some big bud parts and other pieces on that whole shelf in there. And so what we're gonna do is we're just basically gonna pull stuff off the shelf, evaluate what's in it. Do we need it? Is it something that's junk? We're gonna use it again. Whatever that is, we'll throw it out or put it on another shelf. And then we've got to figure out which one of these shelves and so forth is gonna be sprayer, combine, miscellaneous like chains and bearings and whatever it might, you know, miscellaneous stuff. So I think what we're gonna do is we'll keep this side all just air drill, plow parts, or chisel plows or whatever you wanna call it. And then we'll have combines, and then we'll do some like Magnum, Big Buds, sprayer, and then the rest of this stuff over here will probably be just miscellaneous and so forth. At least that's the plan. So yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of going through. So we're just gonna rip it all out, clean it all up, vacuum it if we want to, which we probably should, and then go from there. All right, so like for example, here is a bunch of intelligent egg sensors for the air drill. Save it, but I'm just gonna move it out of the way. Yeah, these are extras. In case one breaks, we have one. So a lot of that stuff. That can be chucked.
This whole thing?
Oh, that doesn't work anymore. It's the dial for
yes, that's right.
that hydraulics.
Yep.
There is this cable here.
I'll keep the cable.
That cable needs to go on the big bud because that's the heart in case of the transmission solenoids fail. Not this one. Right here. We need to keep that.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is for to plug in for different meters when we're testing the air drill on the car.
Yeah, I want to keep all these
But that
plugins.
Chuck it. We're never gonna use it. Just want the box or something.
Yeah.
It's got a good switch in it. We don't use that anymore. Yeah, there's a lot of this stuff. I'll tell you. Like for example, all right, we got 7140 Magnum parts right here. This is some front bearings assembly. I'm just gonna set this right here. Actually, let's do it over here. And then, there's so much stuff like right here. We got 8230 right-hand side rock shaft bearing. And that's a combine part. So let's do, I don't know, we'll just start finding parts. Okay, I just set it up there. We can rearrange it as we go. What do we got in here? That's a patch kit that's no good. Chuck it. Chuck pile. I got a great place to put it. Clean the shop, Nick. Clean the shop. Clean the shop, Nick!
I just wondered who Chuck was.
Oh, Chuck, he's a nice guy. Center Draper 2152. Those are bearings. Let's put that up there. Yeah, there's so much stuff. My goodness. All right, so this is a KTA 19 fuel shutoff. Okay, I know what that's for. Put that on the shelf right there. I know, isn't that crazy? Got all this stuff. Are you guys getting bored? Let me know. These are combine fingers. So combine. Over the side on that side. This is plastic. Right there. This, I know exactly what that is. And then we've got a bulkhead too. Okay. Right there. Okay. You gotta wait your turn, right? You know what? I'm gonna put you guys on a time lapse so you can see what's going on, because there's a lot going on.
And the shop purge continues. All sorts of goodies on that truck. This thing was empty, yet now it's about full. Stuff around here, insulation we're keeping, we're gonna put on that back wall there when that shelve's gone. You'll see when we get that figured out. He's still working on that wall. I mean, just a Full tote of pulleys. Who knows? I'm sure one of those will get used in the next 5 years. Do you keep it or not? Like tensioner pulley. What, you know, do we want this?
I think we do, but we really need this right here. It's a
used is that plastic? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Needed that. It's really important. I definitely needed that. So while leg arms is in there, I've been in the back room. This is an addition we built on the shop. It kind of turned into our iron room, our chain room, our shovel room. All sorts of stuff down that way. So I cleaned up a lot across the top there. I put the massive Yankum rope that we have up there because that gets used once in a blue moon, and you kind of need it because eventually you'll get stuck enough that comes in handy. But since it's not a commonly used rope for us, we'll put it up there. But I got a whole pile of other Yankum ropes I got to deal with. They're kind of in the way. We walk around them, and I was thinking this back wall here, this is kind of our oil filter shelf wall here. I'm going to clean all this up, organize a little better, take all that cardboard off the wall. I'm going to put hooks in this wall, and I'm going to take those Yankum ropes, I'm going to loop them up and down. So we'll have, like, you know, what is that? The 5/8 to inch to, 2 inch, however size they go in with all the shackles, soft shackles, hard shackles, everything right there. And we'll keep a nice path here, so when we get stuff stuck, we can run right in, grab it off the wall, and put it back in instead of digging through this stuff. So let's get this Yankum situation figured out. Here's how we're coming so far. Cut off a chunk of the wall here of the shelving. Just whenever there was stuff on it. As you can see, we cleaned out a lot of stuff. Took some of the stuff out here, brought some stuff back in here. All those containers up there had wheat back from 2019 under here. So I dumped all that in buckets. That's gonna become chicken feed. And now we're gonna put all of our extension cables and I think jumper cables on this wall from inside the shop because it's a mess around over there. And this is the Yankum wall. We'll call it the Yankum wall. The Yankum ropes wall. So we had one casualty, undersized a rope on a combine earlier this year, and it died. Yeah, I know we had these too, but it died. So that's okay, we got a replacement. This guy. So that's there, so that's good. We've got a 3/4, 1 inch ropes. This is an 1.5 inch rope. What's this one rated at? 74,000 pounds. These are right around that 33,500 pounds. Then you get to your 2 inch rope. Where's the tag on this one? I'll just read this one. These are both 2 inch ropes. We have 2 of them because sometimes you need more length to get a field. That's rated at 131,500 pounds of pulling force. So we combine those two together when we're having to pull something really far. And then we got the shackles accordingly. I do need to get a bigger shackle, I think, for the bigger ropes. These aren't rated for quite the power that those are. But then the next big step is going to be finding a place for the beast. I threw it up here originally because I didn't know where I was going to put it, because this is a rope that won't get used very much, but there will be a day it gets used. This is a 2.5 inch rope, and this is rated at 201,000 pounds. So it's a monster. It's a beast. Yeah, and so it's valuable too. So we got to make sure we put it in a good spot. So I think I'm going to make a spot for it to hang below those and just kind of wrap it around, and that'll just be there all the time. So most of our pulling is going to probably be pickups and light trucks. So they'll be using a lot of the 1 inch rope, but when we start getting into anything bigger than a really, really light, like a pickup truck, you're going to the 1.5 inch, and then of course tractors, combines, 2 inch rope. Cool stuff. And then we've always wanted to do this since we got these oil containers. This is our Hightran and our 1540 engine oil. These things roll around the shop. You guys seen them. We constantly roll them around the shop. Well, we roll them back in here, but we didn't design this shelving here for them to be in here because we got these after we did this wall. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take all the pipes off back there on the shelf there because they really shouldn't even be there. I'm going to cut out part of the shelving right here so these tuck back inside our oil wall, clean that out. So then they'll have more room to walk through here. That'll put them in about 2 feet, which is going to open this up quite a bit. And then on these racks, I'm going to add some square tubing or something, weld, lengthen, and add another layer across the top here. It's going to be a flat layer, and that's where all of our pipe's going to go. All that. And that should clean this room up a lot nicer. So we're just making improvements. Leg arms and dad are over here still. There's that thing. That's future projects. It's coming. So anyways, cool. Good stuff. We're making progress. Let's keep going. Now, real quick. For you guys out there that are pulling stuff, it is amazing the amount of power that equipment has. You take 600 horsepower, you stack tractors together, you got something buried in the mud. It's actually quite frightening. It's nerve-wracking pulling stuff out like that. And so a lot of accidents have happened. A lot of people have gotten seriously injured. So please size your ropes accordingly. If it's starting to get frayed, toss it out. Some of these just got a lot of dirt in them, but they're still intact. We were told UV rays is the worst thing for these ropes, so keep them out of the sun. That'll keep life into them. See, that one's got a little bit of use on it. But inspect your stuff, inspect your gear, and size appropriately. You know what? You can always go bigger. Why not? Grab the 2-inch rope and pull your each side by side out. Why not? But don't grab the 3/4 inch rope right here and hook onto your self-propelled sprayer that's buried all the way up to the frame. Yeah. Okay. All right. Lesson learned. Keep moving on. Be safe. All right. There we go. There's the big dog. I just looped it from side to side. So we're all in here. That's the arsenal. I know we're a little offset. I should move that one right there to make all you, what's the word? ADD? No, attention deficit disorder. Anyways, you know what I mean.
You guys want to see what's behind here?
No.
He says no, but we're not going to listen to him. So here's another reason why we're going through all of this work, because of that thing. But we're not going to talk about it right now. See back here? This is all the insulation that this had. There's nothing there, literally. It's sad. Sad panda, you know? So when we, because we're moving this out of the way, we're going to insulate this wall, sheet it with some sheeting, and then the bench, and this is the idea that we're kind of thinking, is that behemoth is going to stand right where I'm at, right here, and there's a bunch of stuff on the floor. My goodness, it's a mess here. So it's going to go right to here. That's going to go out of the way. End mill's going to be behind the lathe, which you'll see shortly. And then this whole rollable stand with all my milling bits and lathe bits and all that good stuff, that is actually going to go right against that wall behind this thing. And then we're going to have a hydraulic spool. So here's the thing. In our shop, we have, see, 1, 2, 3 locations for hydraulic stuff. And it's just a nightmare to walk around. The main hydraulic stuff is obviously right here. We got a crimper, a bunch of fittings, a bunch of miscellaneous stuff with that bench. That whole bench, crimper, chop saw for the hoses, that is going to come over here. Oh, by the way, hydraulic stuff here. And then it's going to come over and go against that wall. So we'll have hydraulic fittings. Then we're going to have our crimper, and then chop saw, and then,
I think we're winging this restoration. Look at that.
That's been there a while.
You know what? A little bit of blood, a couple pieces of bird seed. I think it can fly.
what's it taste like? That's what I want to know.
But
I'm going to have somebody else do it. Nick's going to figure it out.
Here, Kobe. We'll find out.
Little crispy on that side. So anyways, as they rudely interrupted me, we'll have hydraulic spool against that wall right in the corner, hydraulic bench. Everything's going to be moved on this side. So I'm not running around from 1, 2, 3 to get different locations because we had stuff on that bench and wall. It's just a nightmare. So we're trying to organize it to make it a lot better, set up more room, which means more work. And you guys want to see how much stuff and junk. And there's good potential. But like in here, this whole thing is just full of scrap iron. I mean, there's just stuff that you'll never use again. There's a lot of potential, but it'll sit on the shelf for like another 10, 15 years and you'll forget about it and you'll just buy other pieces and fix. And so it's purge. Lots of purging. Holy criminy. We got ourselves into a big mess. That's a good thing, I guess.
All right, racks are ready. Probably should have made those a little taller. Let's put some pipe up there. Get it out of here so we can open up a big spot here for those to go, just like that. Perfect.
Now that I moved the bench over here, we started talking about it, me and Papa right here, Faja, he's working on that wall. So basically what we're thinking with this bench here is I'm gonna actually cut right here and remove all of that. And the reason for is all of our hydraulic fittings and shelving, we're gonna stack it against the wall this direction. So it'll probably be here. We could raise it off the ground a little bit if we needed to. And then we got 4 feet of bench for our hydraulic crimper and our chop saw, okay? I don't know if they call it a chop saw. To me, it makes sense to chop saw. There's probably another term for hydraulic saw that chops hydraulic hoses, but that kind of gives you an idea. The problem that we had over here, and I mean, everything was temporary. Like, we got this, oh, it works. We'll just quickly do this, and well, quickly means it'll stay for a very long time, like 10 years. So that was obviously sitting on top, and then we had another one stacked on top. The problem that I had was I can never see anything in the top shelves, so I never used any of those shelves. You just couldn't use it because you couldn't reach it unless you had a step stool. So now the two things that we were looking at is like, well, if I cut this shelving down, we could leave that one and set it on top of it, and then it raises a little higher. But then we're like, well, let's just cut it all the way down and remove that bottom shelf. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, I need the skill saw, and I'm gonna make a nice line and make a couple marks, try to make it look pretty. And then the other thing too is we have to cap the top for our countertop, I guess you could say, workbench top. We have this nice tin here that came from that back room, and it's got a nice bent 1-inch curl on it. That we'll put on top, so when you have hydraulic fittings and stuff that leaks oil, it'll just kind of leak it on top and you can wipe it off, clean it up really easy. That's the gist. Oh, I forgot what I was gonna do. Go get the skill saw. Got kind of sidetracked. Luckily for me, the skill saw's right here. You guys can find a spot to sit. How about right here? No, I'll find a spot for you guys.
Well, while the guys are getting that wall wrapped up, I think I got this room pretty well wrapped up. Pallet jacks there, chicken feed grinder. It's a hammer mill my dad made there. Yankum wall. Gotta have your Yankum wall. Haven't done a lot of organizing here. Really didn't need a whole ton, but nice to have it cleared up. Oh, the iron's always fun. It's just, iron is difficult. It's like landscaping rock. How do you sort it? Because it's stacked on top of itself, but there's stuff underneath that you don't know is there, but to get to it's really heavy, but there's not a lot of room, so I don't know, that's a tough one. Managing iron is not easy, but you know, you just kind of eye and see, okay, I see a piece, like, oh, hey, look at that. You are not supposed to be on the floor. Perfect. So yeah, it looks good. You tied up the straps a little bit. Still got to move all of our extension cords and jumper cables over to this wall. Haven't done that yet, but no, looking really good compared to what it was. I can actually walk in here. You guys probably saw what it looked like before, but it was getting bad. Every 5 or 6 years, got to do this kind of stuff.